white Christians, they have this like worldview that they are moral and they are just and they are righteous, right? And then they can go, it's that manifest destiny bullshit, and they can go out here and they can be as mean spirited and fuck everybody else up and think that they're blessed exclusively and all this other shit, right? How come when a flood comes through and washes your shit away, right? How come when the tornado comes through and blows your town away, how come that's never a sign of God that God is upset with you? How come that's never a sign, that what white people are doing, is wrong, right? When y'all want to talk about the God and God smites this and smites that, and he smited Sodom and Gomorrah, and because they were filled with sin, right? Now, as an atheist, I think all that shit is stupid. I think like, if white people disproportionately live in Tornado Alley and black people don't live in Tornado Alley, then obviously, from a bird's eye view, white people are going to be the ones that are going to be disproportionately affected. Not because God selected white people and said, I'm going to smite white people because I agree with black people that white people are racist. Right. But I'm saying it's very easy with the goofiness of Christianity and religion. It's very easy for me to fucking sit there and do that. I can sit there every time a town gets fucked up in the Midwest. I could very easily be like, yup, see, God hates white people. See, God's punishing white people for slavery. Black people were doing this shit when those damn plantations burnt down. Right? The plantations burning down mm, and black people, all of a sudden, black people getting all spooky and whatnot. They got all spooky with it. Oh, see, that's our ancestors talking. Oh, see, you don't upset the spirits, right? Every time somebody drowns in Lake Lanier, oh, see, that's the ancestors. Every time, I think they just had a boat that recently caught on fire. That's them ancestors. That's that Manjara spirit, like all that shit.
Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Rekakwadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Grace Millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akim. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Rekakwadash, all praises and glory is due. Isaiah 42 verse 25. Therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it hath set him on fire round about, yet he knew not. And it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart. And this is of course speaking of our people that still do not see the judgments of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai falling upon them, falling upon Esau, Edom, right, falling upon the rest of the heathen, because now we are going into the recent events that happened in Texas with the floodings, that happened in Texas, and I believe basically because of the hurricanes that broke out this year, the same way hurricanes. I believe that was earlier this year or so. Time has been moving so fast, it's hard to keep track of this stuff, of these things. But I believe also either earlier this year or last year, you also had hurricanes hitting other parts of the US, like Hurricane Milton and the other hurricanes, basically devastating Edomite communities, or at the very least so-called white communities, right? And then you now had the burning of those and different slave plantations, the Hinton plantation, I believe, and also a Confederate museum, right, showing that the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is visiting, America, Babylon the Great, of course, and it's becoming more and more obvious and more clear. And when those things happened, I came out and said, and I did a video and said, this is not the work of the ancestors, right? And you see, this is how Jake puts themselves in a trick bag, because when those things happened, right, rather than giving praises, glory, and honor as they should to the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Jake was talking about, oh, it's the ancestors, right? And I came out with a video and I said, this is not the work of the ancestors, this is the work of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And this is how man, hey, the Most High is going to judge a lot of our people, right? Especially you Jakes that can't seem to differentiate or can't seem to tell, right? Or are willfully ignorant of when the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is bringing judgments, okay, on the earth. Like case in point, the video that I just played before this one, that was a Jake speaking right there. Let me see if I can open up the YouTube. Right, his name was what, SWP. Let's see if I can go to that. Let's see if I can go to that. I think it should be. I think I should still have the YouTube up. Here it is. Now this is the video right here. Right, like I was saying, right, his name is SWP, right? So he was basically going into how, these Edomites, they always say that, oh, well, whenever something bad happens to somebody else, that, oh, the Most High was smiting them, the Most High was judging them, similar to how we say it, except they do it in wickedness, we do it in righteousness, right? You see how the dichotomy, you see what the difference is. When we say the Most High is judging somebody, we are bringing out the simple fact, okay, and the simple truth, and that's exactly what happened and what's happening to Esau, Edom, and also to you Israelites as well, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the scattered Israelites that are scattered around the four corners of the earth that are still in the world, okay. Mosiah, how about Sham Yahushua is judging you as well. And this is actually the video I got that clip from, right? So basically, as the title of his video says, God smites everyone but you. And the title of my video will obviously be response to God smites everyone but you. So yeah, he made a lot of good points in this video and talking about how Esau Edom acts as though, and of course we always do say this as well, and these devils are basically putting themselves in the position of the Most High. So you see that, even the people in the world are beginning to see, right, what the men of the Lord have been saying, and this is what the men of the Lord have been saying and has been saying, and even he in this video also mentioned it as well. Job 9 verse 24, and he reads, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof with not. Where and who is he? And that's why you see, is the thumbnail of his video is basically a picture of, that Edomite JC, right? Because this is one of those pro-black, dudes, and if you ask me, he'll probably tell you that, oh well, the Palestine, the Israel, they were basically the people in the Middle East at the time of our Lord Yahweh Shai, because he doesn't believe in Israel. He said it in the video, he's an atheist, right? Who are obviously dark skinned people, right? So called black, because this is one of those dudes that, it is one of those pro black Kemetology, Egypt diggers, right? So you, of course, he understands, to an extent, right, the history of our people, but he does not acknowledge, like I said, he's an atheist, man. So he's calling out Esau Edom, right? So let's see if I can go and play the snippets or the parts of the video where he begins to do that. So he's calling out Esau Edom for their hypocrisy, right? But what actually made me want to play this video is, let's see if I can get that part right once again.
Like, we've seen these natural disasters happening almost exclusively in predominantly white areas. Didn't they have the floods in the Appalachian Mountains, like North Carolina, something like that? Was it North Carolina? Where was those floods that they had?
And all these things that he's speaking of, these are all the judgments of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, falling upon, you Edomites out here, man. Because, hey, in this kingdom, you Edomites actually thought that it was only going to be our people that would receive the judgments of the Most High via the curses, right? Because, hey, you Edomites are also going to get and partake in the indignation and the judgments of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But we as Israelites, we have hope in the fact that at the very least we will be delivered from our judgment and our curses, right? But hey, the hell that you Edomites are about to go through, and your judgments are just beginning.
In the Appalachians, right? And then I think they're still fucked up. Then you remember you had the tornado in Joplin, Missouri, right? You had all these like Category 5, like just tearing shit up tornadoes, right? Which, when it comes to especially nature, I mean, you can't get any more God's wrath than Mother Nature, right? But it's always funny to me how...
Right, like you said, and this is the funny thing right there, And it's gone to the point where a lot of you people out here in the world believe that, oh, it's just normal for hurricanes and tornadoes to be pelting the earth, right? The way that it is. But that is not the case, okay? Those things, right? The constant hurricanes, the constant tornadoes, the constant earthquakes, the constant tsunamis, the constant typhoons, the constant monsoons, the landslides, right? The earth, even the earth opening, the I forgot what they call that one, the one where the earth basically opens up, right? Pitfall, basically the earth just opens up and just you just fall inside a sinkhole, a pitfall. I forgot what they call that disaster as well. All these things are not normal, okay? These are the things that are happening because of the times that we are in, because we are in the times of the end, okay? What they call that stuff again? Let's call it a pitfall, I beg. Because of the times that we're in, this is why these things are happening, okay? These are the judgments of the Most High, Yahweh Sham Yahushai, coming upon the earth. And you jakes out there, the spirit is clearly not dealing with you for you to not see that. This is not normal, okay? This isn't something that has been happening every single time, or every single year, or every single time period for all of human history. Natural disasters have never been happening like this. But because we are of the times that we're in, right? Because we are in the last days, right? Because we are in the times before the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai, that is why these things are happening. The same with the constant wars and conflicts breaking out all over the earth. Okay, these are all the signs that the scriptures say, and our Lord Yahweh Shai has told us to look for. So I'll go to the book of Matthew 24, and I'll start from verse 6, and it reads, Matthew 24 verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, and that's exactly what is happening all over the earth right now. Nation rising against nation, famines, pestilences, earthquakes. That's why you're seeing that every other time you're hearing about one mystery disease that killed a bunch of people in one part of the world or the other, right? And this, I think the most recent one, and even when I can't really, and I'm thinking about it, the most recent one, but so many things have been happening, whether it's measles outbreaks, right, or different other disease outbreaks happening in Babylon the Great, or some random parts of here in Africa, where a mysterious disease breaks out and kills like 7 people or so. All these things are part of the signs of the end, all right, because we are not yet in the time where you will have this grand end, right, that you people that are in the world are expecting, okay, where everything will just go out with a bang. It's going to be either a zombie plague where the whole world is affected, or it's going to be some disease that kills millions of people in seconds, highly infectious, and so on and so forth, right? We are not yet in those times, and those kind of things won't even happen because, once again, as the scriptures say, that's not the first and foremost. Aside from the fact that that's not a part of Bible prophecy, but I'm going into different things right now. Let's stay on the topic right at hand. So this is the Greek, the blue letter for the word earthquake, seismos, and it reads a shaking, a commotion, a tempest, and an earthquake, right? And what I'm looking for is I want to see whether there's any reference to any other natural disaster outside of earthquake, because that's really the thing I wanted to get, right. Oh, it said a shaking and a tempest. So, okay, let me go back to that. Seismos, it says a shaking, a commotion, a tempest, right? So that includes your hurricanes, your tornadoes, even tsunamis and typhoons and so on and so forth, right? That is really what these earthquakes represent. It's not just speaking about only earthquakes, but it's speaking about all the other various forms of natural disasters that may exist, right? Because an earthquake usually follows other natural disasters as well. Before a volcano erupts, there's usually an earthquake, right? Earthquakes can lead to other disasters like tsunamis as well, right? And that's exactly what is happening on the earth right now. Okay, this is how the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushua is visiting the earth. And even in the video, he said it himself that, hey, you can't get any more act of God, right, than these natural disasters. But then he continues to say, let's play the video.
Now, Like you get these white supremacists, they come through and they want to project on the black people, like, oh, the criminality and all this, right, right.
Let
Again,
me
which is
fast forward
about
this part a little
white
bit.
people, these white Christians, they have this like worldview
This is the part I want to
that
get
they are
into.
moral and they are just and they are
This is the part I
righteous,
want to
right? And
get
then they
into.
can go, it's
And basically, this is the part that I clipped and put in the beginning of the video. But the reason why I'm playing it back again is because it says something in it that I actually want to address. Let's go
that
front
what
into
white
it.
people are doing, is wrong, right? Sin. Right now, as an atheist, I think all that shit is stupid. I think like, white if white people disproportionately live in Tornado Alley and black people don't live in Tornado Alley, then obviously, you know, from a bird's eye view, white people are going to be the ones that are going to be disproportionately affected.
Right. So this is what you see how people do, man, where they basically try to, um, you know, rationalize the judgments of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? So in here he said that all these white people are living in regions that are most likely to get hit by tornadoes. Surprise, 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 surprise. Once again, man, and that's why I started with this precept right here in the book of Isaiah, the 45th chapter. Okay, that I'm sorry, yeah. Isaiah the 45th chapter. I think that's. Let's go back to the history, right? Isaiah the 42nd chapter, Slovakia. That's why I started with that precept, Isaiah 42 verse 25, right? When you see the judgments of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that you don't understand that these are the judgments of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? The fury of his anger, the strength of his of battle that has set you on fire. Basically, a fire is on the earth right now. The planet is hot right now, from the different things that are happening constantly on it. But you people that are in the world don't recognize it as the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai visiting the earth and sending plagues upon the earth. Okay, so let's get another precept. So this is the book of Romans 1, and I want to get let's see if I can find it. Here it is, Romans 1 verse 21, and it reads, because that when they knew, okay, so let me start from the top. Romans 1 verse 20, for the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse, right? And there is no excuse for you to not understand what is going on the earth, right? The reason why these plagues are actually happening, the reason why, for right now, you have these Edomites being affected, right, by these disasters. Okay, okay, it is stupid to say that, oh well, because white people are living in regions where things like this, right, where disasters like this, where tornadoes usually hit, right, that's the reason why these things are happening, without realizing that, okay, why is that the case? Why did they move to that region? What, hey, and that makes you understand that it's the spirit of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that set up, these Edomites, right, to go to that region and to get hit by those earthquakes. Okay, and that's basically what I'm trying to say. But let me get this right here in the. I mean, let me go back to that. I don't know why I always click on the word rather than the concordance. So this is it right here, and the word there is Thaitos. Thaitos. Let me play that. Let me play that. So okay.
Strong's G 2305. Theates. Theates.
Hierarchies, right? Divinity, divine nature. So that's what Godhead basically means. Divinity and divine nature. So basically, you jakes, a lot of you jakes out here cannot see or understand the divine nature of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because the Spirit is not dealing with you. Now, Romans 1 verse 21, because that when they knew the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Right? So you see the works of the Most High and you chalk it up to coincidence. You say it's the ancestors, or you give the credit to something else, like the big thing that you see a lot of these atheists do. Oh well, we don't need religion or the belief in the Most High anymore because we have science now. Similar to what this dude Noah Yuval Harari said, right? Basically, we don't need God anymore because we have science now, right? Like having science somehow removes the necessity for the Most High, even though it is the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that puts basically how the scriptures how does that precept go? And the Most High created the smith and the coal, right? Let's get that. That's something that you dumbass jigs that you dumbass people out here in the world, you dumbass atheists don't understand. The Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, he's the one that created the smith and the coal. In other words, he's the one that created the inventor and the materials that you invented. Let's get that. I've forgotten how that precept goes, so that you have to bear with me. And let's hope that ads don't play so you can't hear what I'm saying. And it's already playing, so let me try and lower the volume and see that that will work. Okay, let's try and lower the volume and see if that will work. Alright. Yeah, it is. So this is the book of Isaiah 54 verse 16, and it reads, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. Right, and of course we use this precept to go into the nuclear missiles and how the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai created them. But the scriptures are manifold, right? And the smith really refers to any builder, a mason, inventor, innovator, or whatever else you want to say. And the coal is basically just exactly what it is, man. The materials that were used to create whatever the smith created. And it's the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua that did those things, right? When Albert Einstein was writing down the theory of relativity, who set that up is the Most High, right? Let me not go too deep into that. And this is probably a good video to do next, okay? And let me just say a quick Shabbat Shalom, because we're in that time period right now, the Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom to Yakim Wa'akwat out there. So I'm going to this is a good idea for a video, so I'm going to just look into that a little bit and see if I can do a video on that. Right, so let's go into this as well. Okay, because I have an article right here going into the recent floods that happened in Texas, which is mainly what he was talking about, right? All these disasters that are happening all over the US, and it's becoming more and more undeniable that the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is moving on the earth, right? And he's working right now, and he's working America, Babylon the Great right now, and that's why all these things are happening. Right, so let's get into it. And the headline states, Texas flood death toll climbs to at least 107. That's crazy, man. Floods that killed 107 people, and this is America we're talking about, not India or one of these third world countries with these rural areas in these third world countries, village area. This is America, Texas of all places, right? And 107 people were killed by floods. That shows you, if this doesn't show you that the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is visiting America, Babylon the Great right now, right? It doesn't even make you raise an eyebrow, aren't you aren't you atheists, right? Aren't you unbelievers just a little bit suspicious of this? 107 people died from floods in Texas, America, in a first world country that's supposed to be able to, right? What's what I'm looking for? That are supposed to be able to deal with these kind of disasters. Okay, this is usually the kind of news you hear about in some rural village in some random country, in some random part of the world, right? Like floods don't really hit Africa like that, so I can't really use Africa for example. Like in South America or something, the first time you hear of that country is due to some natural disaster happening to them that kills hundreds of people. But this is something they are hearing about happening in America. The death toll from flash floods that struck central Texas on Friday has now climbed to at least 107 people, and an unknown number of others are missing. And another thing that the people of this world like to do is they like to blame all these disasters on global warming. Because the solar ice caps are melting and so on and so forth. That's why all these things are happening on the earth, right? But again, and we've already read that in the book of Romans, right? That we basically puts all these different things, right? Let's get that. It's like I don't think I finished reading that actually. I guess I got a little carried away. I don't think I finished reading that, right? So Yeah, okay, actually, I finished reading that. Their foolish heart was darkened, they became vain in their imaginations. So they are, attributing the works of the Most High, however, Sham Yahushai, to other things. And let's finish that up. So let's go to that part in the book of Romans. So now, Romans 1, verse 22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like unto corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Right, so rather than giving the glory to the Most High, how about Sham Yahshai? They are giving the glory to other things, right? Oh, it's the ancestors. Oh, it's global warming. Oh, it's because you are in Hurricane Alley. That's why these things will happen to you. Okay, let's keep going. So now, search and rescue teams are wading through mud-piled riverbanks as more rain and thunderstorms threaten the region, but hope was fading of finding any more survivors for days after the catastrophe. Camp Mystic, a Christian all-girls summer camp, confirmed at least 27 girls and staff were among the dead. 5 campers and 1 adult are still missing. The White House, meanwhile, rejected suggestions that budget cuts at the National Weather Service could have inhibited the disaster response, or at least 87 of the victims, 56 adults and 31 children, died in Kerr County, where the Guadalupe River was swollen by torrential downpours before daybreak on Friday, the July 4th public holiday. Some 19 adults and 7 children have yet to be identified, said the county sheriff's office. Also, this happens, close to July 4th, which is funny because, I've been meditating on that, man, that this July 4th, it was really heavy because you had some footballers and a lot of celebrities died during this period. Diogo Jota, Jake is into football, so Diogo Jota and his brother died. Then I now had some other celebrities as well and other athletes also dying during this period, which made me suspicious that Esau is probably doing some major sacrifice. Which hey, look, you never know with these kind of situations, alright. But at the end of the day, the one thing that is certain is that the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahshai is behind all these things. Okay, so yeah, some 19 adults and 7 children have yet to be identified, said the county sheriff office. Why? Okay, so yeah, basically going into that. So this is just an example of the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushua visiting the earth that he created and bringing judgment on Esau Edom. Because if you dig deeper into this flooding, right, you find out that this community that was hit is actually a predominantly so-called white community, which is most likely filled up with Edomites. Okay, so I'm going to end the video right there. Once again, all praises, honor, and the glory unto the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahushai Bashabraka Kodash. Wa about Babal, and through the spirits I hope you are calm and you are quite edified. Shalom.